Hello everybody, this is Elu again, bringing you another StarCraft 2 lesson for my Zergy buddies. Let's go ahead and load this up. This is going to be a Zerg versus Protoss on Steps of War, played just today or the other day, maybe yesterday, versus Dekar, who's I think he's like 1,200 points or 1,300 points on the ladder, Protoss, and I've played him quite a few times. He's a good guy. He's beaten me quite a few times, and he does lots of really interesting creative strategies. And so I thought I'd show you a game that really features how you adapt as Zerg, and particularly I said that I was going to be focusing on Zerg versus Terran because that's where Zergs are having problems. But a lot of my Zerg friends have been telling me that they also have a problem with fast expand Protoss. So I thought I would show you a game where the Protoss does fast expand, and I go ahead and deal with it. So at this point, I'm doing the standard speedling expand, where you get your pool at like 13 or 14. I think I get it at 13 this time, and then you get your gas at 13, and you get speed, and then you take all your guys off gas as soon as you get 100, so you can get speed, and then you go ahead and expand. But I see that he's doing this here, so I try to block the forge as long as possible. I actually thought it would be a gateway. I was kind of surprised when he set down the forge, I gotta say. So there's the forge, and so at this point I see that going on. I don't actually see this. Let's go to my view. I don't actually see that yet. My my thought process here is, I'm going to keep doing sort of the same thing. The speedling build isn't the worst against the forge wall off, but it sort of relies on them messing up, and I really don't like those kinds of builds. I don't like relying on the opponent to play poorly. So he went for, it was 9 pylon and like 14 forge, and I go for the more standard 13 or 14 pool, and then gas immediately after, and I switch here. I go for the Roach Warren. I think before the Queen, maybe at the same time as the Queen. But this is what I'm saying. This is a game where I adapt very heavily to what he's doing. Like I said, I don't want to go speedlings because if he's walled off here correctly and has his cannon up in time, speedlings are really going to be useless. And I think I've just scouted this with the drone that was heading out. And one thing you can take advantage of, if you see this, it means you don't have to make any Zerglings. He's giving you permission to drone up very, very, very heavily. Because what he's essentially done is locked himself away and admitted to you that he's not going to be planning on attacking. That's why he's trying to contain you so hard. So drone up as much as is possible. In fact, let's hope I'm ahead of him in supply. Good, I am. Although chrono boosts and the fact that he's finally getting his production facilities up is going to change that very quickly. And there goes his Nexus. So that's really smart play. Forge, Gateway, Nexus, and he knows this is walled. This here is a little bit foolish by him. This cannon is back, and it's kind of an interesting trade-off, because if you put this cannon here rather than here, then the cannon can shoot these roaches, and the roaches can't hit the pylons without being shot. But the trade-off is I can just bring my roaches here and fire directly at the cannon. So I'm not entirely sure which one is the best, to be honest. Some lag. Seems like this recording application does lag me up quite a bit. So here we go. This is the 5 roach push. I have 5 roaches on the way. He's actually really smartly target firing. If you watch here, I'll bring this guy back, and yeah, he's gonna target fire that. Yeah, so that's really smart on his part. Wow, that is some lag. I need to work that out. But I got an incredibly quick lair, and my thought process is I can see this here. My thought process is this guy is going to have a very late cybernetic score. In fact, there's a cybernetic score here. So I can abuse the fact that he's not going to have enough stalkers to deal with this. My lair is almost already done. and then I take my expansion as soon as this pylon is dead, so he doesn't know. There's no vision here. The very second that his pylon is dead, I go ahead and expand. That way he's kind of left in the dark. So he's going to be transferring guys down here. Oh, that is some just brutal lag. Let's see what I can't close. Maybe it was day 9 lagging in the background during the daily. So roaches are good here. Like I said, I don't want to abuse stakes. Wow. It normally does. It never lags like this in game. It's just a recording software, and I apologize. I will have that fixed. But like I said, you don't want to abuse him being bad by going speedlings. Another good target fire by him to take down that roach with the last slash of that zealot. But what you can do is there's really never going to be a way where his photon cannons can cover absolutely everything. I've seen it maybe once, and it requires absolutely perfect, so you're not really relying on him being bad here. You're just sort of relying on... I wonder if he cancels this. He does make another cybernetic score. That's interesting. I don't really know what to make of that. I did not notice this in game, and I have to criticize that, because that should just be a gateway. I mean, if you're trying to replace your wall, then replace your wall, but if you're trying to build another cyber core, then he did that correctly, and I don't really know what to say about that. So I know here that he's got nothing to attack me with. His cyber core is still delayed, so it's not like he's going to it's not like he's going to be attacking with a bunch of stalkers anytime soon. He does attack with roaches, I mean with zealots. You know, I've got my roaches. So again, it's another one of those times where you feel safe, so you just mass up as many drones as you possibly can. And I took that early second gas. The build goes something like, it was like 14 pool, and again, this isn't a laid out build. The reason this worked so well is specifically because I adapted. I changed my build on the fly, based on what I saw him doing. So I got the, it was about 5 or 6 roaches, and then I started my lair, and the second gas was started right around the same time that the lair was started. And then again, I got my hatchery right when I broke out. And so now, he's got 3 stalkers. I'm going to be waiting for this 5th mutalisk. You get 5 mutalisks because 5 mutalisks is enough to one-shot a probe. So instead of wasting, you're essentially twice as effective as you would be with 4. And it doesn't seem to make mathematical sense that 4 or 5 is twice as effective as 4. But it's just the way that it works out, because you'll spend twice as long at actually attacking. So I see here that he's got the Robo Bay, and that's because he thought that I was going to go mass roaches. And I see that, and my response to that seems counterintuitive. My response to that is to get speed roaches, and the reason I'm doing this is because he now sees me going muta, so he's going to be ignoring his Robo Bay. It's going to be basically all stalkers that he's warping in. Stalkers and cannons. He's not going to be building that Colossus for quite a while, especially if I can keep him off gas, which is what I'm trying to do, running his probes back and forth here. And he's not doing the hottest job of splitting up his stalkers, but it's not like he could do a great job because he has 4 stalkers, so if he split them up I could just kill 2. So he kind of has to keep them together, and he sort of noticed that, like, he split them up and then noticed that, you know, these 5 mutalisks are going to be enough. So again, there we go. It's always a good thing when your replay sense matches your game sense. You look at your queen in the replay, and then you go ahead and larva inject. It's a good feeling. I did not know that there was an observer there. So adding more muta. Again, I have the speed for the roaches, but I'm not going to get too many roaches. I also have the spine crawler, just in case there's some sort of all-in attack. The spine crawler is going to help a lot in case he goes, okay, screw my base, screw these mutas, and just moves out, because I wouldn't be able to hold off just him directly attacking, especially if he warped in, you know, maybe 4 more stalkers, which is what he's doing right now. He's got 4 warp gates. And a pretty healthy economy, to be honest. He's still ahead of me in workers, even though I've been picking these guys off. Now he's not, and that's the key. Gotta constantly be killing workers. That's one skill I don't particularly have is Zerg. I'm really always behind in workers. I get scared a lot, and so I make a lot of units. I've passed the phase where all I make is workers, and then I lose with no units and a million workers. And now I'm in sort of my opposite phase, which is the game goes on too long and I have no workers. But he's doing, like I said, he's doing a very good job of making more. He's still only 3 behind after however many I've killed. And so here, I just decided to kill these cannons, because by the time he gets down here with his stalkers, these cannons are going to be gone. And so not only is he going to have to remake them, it's just going to, you know, he's just going to be spending more minerals.